one.
Hello, welcome to Meet Me at the Movies. Noel T. Manning II here, hanging out with Mr. Douglas Davis. And Douglas is the president of the North Carolina Film Critics Association and a great friend. And it's always wonderful to have Douglas on the show. And if you got a chance to watch a few weeks ago, we did the nominees for the North Carolina Film Critics Association Best of 2023. And today you're going to get a chance to hear the winners. And Douglas, welcome, man. Good to see you, buddy.
Likewise, it is always a delight and an honor to join you for this show. Thank you. Thank you for all that you've done. For those that don't know, Noel is the vice president of the North Carolina Film Critics Association and soon to be president. So soon he'll have to interview himself when we do this again next year.
No, we're going to have to find a way because interviewing myself, it works, but only in my mind. It only works in my mind. And when I'm walking down the street doing that, the first thing people look at is, okay, as a guy, does he have like a Bluetooth, or is he actually just talking to himself?
It's important. You always got to have something in your ears when you're going to do that.
Exactly. Well, we are going to talk about today's winners, and we've got a host of winners, including a record-breaking winner as well for the North Carolina Film Critics Association. But before we dive into that, give us a little background on who are these film critics, who gets to vote in these categories, and what's the time frame from a voting standpoint?
Gotcha. We are an organization comprised of 72 different critics who either work in or contribute to publications throughout North Carolina. So we have members that are in Asheville and Wilmington and Charlotte and Matthews, Raleigh and Durham, everywhere. Okay. We always look at films that are released from January 1st to December 31st, and we are not picky, as some are, in terms of do they only hit theaters. We are not looking for a film that has been in theaters for a week to get a minimum dates in order for consideration. If it's released on VOD, if it's released on digital, if it goes straight to physical formats, for example, to home release, as long as it has been released within that time frame, we will consider it. And that's why if you did watch our nominations, we had some truly extraordinary ones with everything from The Color Purple with Fantasia, who was nominated in the Ken Hankey Memorial category, and that film came out in December. And then we had some from June with Barbenheimer. So we even had a few that were in the early parts of the year, which was really exciting to see.
Yeah, absolutely, and it does vary. I mean, we got Godzilla -1 in there as well, which made me very happy. And we have some indie films that show up as well. And what I love about what we do is you will have that just diverse mix of films. You'll have independent films, you'll have blockbuster films, and then you'll have some of those that maybe general audiences haven't had a chance to think about, and this may give them a chance to think about it and reconsider as well. So any other thoughts you want to make sure you share about the North Carolina Film Critics, maybe even the website, before we dive into the winners?
Well, for the website, to learn more about our membership and more about what we do, past winners, things like that, you can go to ncfilmcritics.org. But one thing that I wanted to point out that you mentioned is in terms of the films, whether they're blockbusters or indies. One thing that's really great about our membership is that they are not out there to necessarily tell you what to see or what not to see. They are looking at the films that they are watching and trying to get you to think about the films that you are watching. Sometimes that means giving great praise to popular films, and sometimes that means negative praise to popular films. But also, and what's really great is the way that this organization, and certainly several of our members, that champion smaller films that audiences may not be familiar with. Because there's this misconception that with film critics, it's about telling you what to see or putting down film, when in fact it's about exploring film.
Yes.
It's about thinking about the film. And in particular, one of my favorites is about, hey, here's a movie you may not have seen. Here's why it's exciting and you should check it out. And we have a lot of folks in our roster who do that.
Absolutely. And when you look at those who were nominated for Best Narrative Film, we had 10. And everything from animation shows up in there, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, to The Zone of Interest, which is truly a film that you it's a deep film for sure.
Yeah.
I mentioned Godzilla Minus One, Barbie,
Hmm.
then American Fiction, and then The Holdovers, that Alexander Payne film that is now going to be on my holiday list every single year, and then Past Lives, a directorial debut. So we had a
A
wide,
heck of a debut.
yeah, a wide range of films that show up when you're looking at our 10 best
Mhm.
of the year.
Absolutely. I think it's a with just that those 10 films, you get a really good sense of the way that the organization works and what, as an organization, they value.
Yeah, and we mentioned Past Lives, but also I can't, I should not fail to mention that the legend, Martin Scorsese's film, Killers of the Flower Moon, also showed up in there. So
Absolutely.
you talk about a wealth of knowledge and talent and the
Hmm.
body of work. Wow, debut and then the legend. So
Yep.
there you go. You can find that list of all the nominations on NC Film Critic. What is it? ncfilmcritics.org. Is that
.org.
right?
That's right. That's right.
All right, man. Well, let's
Perfect.
dive into the winners. Last year we had a record-breaking film that just dominated with 9 awards. That was Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. My favorite of 2022. And when I said last year, uh, 2022. Here and I got to get my dates right. And then in
Well, it's the best
2023.
of best in cinema 2023, so I'm with you.
Exactly,
I'm with you.
exactly. So for we had somebody that beat that out this year. Is that correct? So something that got more than 9 wins in
That is
2023.
correct. I was impressed, a little surprised to see that we had another record being made this year. Last year, with Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's a film that slowly built momentum as it went throughout the year from its release at South by Southwest, and then more and more people started watching it. But this year, there was a cultural moment that you could not create in a lab. It had to
Yeah.
happen naturally. And in this instance, it was the simultaneous weekend release of Greta Gerwig's Barbie and Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. And it that's to me one of the big reasons I think these films did so well in cinemas is that because they got paired, so people that might not have seen one felt that they needed to see the other. And both films are incredibly strong. And this year, our organization have awarded Oppenheimer with 10 awards,
Wow.
from best narrative film to multiple technical categories. So this is a film that, much like last year with Everything Everywhere All at Once, where it won in best narrative, director, and a number of other categories, we are once again honoring Oppenheimer and Christopher Nolan with a similar response. And it was entirely shocking to go through the results and just the dominance, if you
Yeah.
will, that
Yeah.
occurred.
Yeah. The film Oppenheimer, as you mentioned, 10 wins. Out
Hmm.
of 15 nominations, so not too bad there. And
Nope.
Barbie had 14 nominations, if I believe that's what I had correct. So I think it was right underneath from a nominations category. So those were the two leads for sure. Yeah, Oppenheimer 15, Barbie had 14 nominations, but
Hmm.
Oppenheimer 10 wins, including what lead actor as well as supporting actor. So Iron Man got a North Carolina Film Critics Award. Is that right? Robert Downey Jr. Is that right? Is that correct?
Robert Downey Jr. for supporting actor, Cillian Murphy for best actor, absolutely. Cinematography, direction, ensemble, adapted screenplay,
Yeah.
editing. I mean, it's
Wow.
yeah, it was incredibly surprising score, sound design.
Yeah.
It's
Wow. Yeah.
just
It
running
dominated.
through the list. It's still impressive. It is
Yeah,
still impressive
dominated.
to see.
And Christopher Nolan, he was nominated previously for the film Dunkirk.
Hmm.
And for directing, this time he got 2 nominations this year for writing and for directing, and he won both of those. So
Yes, he
congratulations to
did.
Oppenheimer and to Christopher Nolan. And you're right, there was something special about that opening weekend. And these two films could not be, Barbie and Oppenheimer could not be more different in the types of films they are. And typically you would not think that audiences that may go to this one, general audiences that may go to this one, may go to that one. But that wasn't the case. I mean, people were doing these double features, and it was the general audience members, not just the film journalists, entertainment journalists, or the film critics. It was this mass cultural phenomenon. As you mentioned, it happened, and it blew everybody away.
That's right. I really don't think anybody expected that to happen. When we first heard about Barbie, there's a certain amount of cynicism that comes with that. Of course, finding out that Greta Gerwig was directing, Margot Robbie in the lead, Ryan Gosling supporting, and then learning that whomever wasn't cast in Killers of the Flower Moon, who wasn't cast in Oppenheimer, was showing up in Barbie. One began to go, okay, maybe there's a thing here. I would disagree with you on one, which is that I think there's some interesting thematic overlap between what's explored in Barbie in terms of legacy, in terms of the choices we make, in terms of the way that we live our lives, whether we will be toxic or optimistic, how that sort of plays with Oppenheimer. I mean, certainly Robert Downey Jr.'s performance as Strauss, and how his version of the world was incredibly toxic, at least how it's played in the film. And Downey is so good at charming you in one moment and then bringing out that pettiness in the next. And the way that he's fencing. Robert Downey is fencing that entire movie with that performance, and it's a compelling performance. And as you watch the film and you start to learn through that perspective, through that shift, it's one of the reasons why Oppenheimer is such a phenomenal film, is the technical approach as well as the performances within it. But that film is looking at the choices that are made and the way that we pursue something and the legacy that follows. So I think that there's some interesting overlap between the two films that surprised all of us. So you have the cultural phenomenon that gets people into seats, but then they kept going back. They would grab people and go with them. They dressed up for it. They made it a thing. And I am honestly sitting here right now, earlier in 2023, I didn't think I'd be talking about either of these films in the way that we are.
Right.
And it is incredibly remarkable. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. And I meant stylistically. You look at these types of films and you wouldn't think...
stylistically, completely different. Absolutely. I mean, they used... Gerwig used so much pink in Barbie, they ran out of the color.
Yes.
Literally. It's a fantastic story. But certainly the way that they look, the production design and everything else, absolutely.
There were not a lot of musical numbers in Oppenheimer, so there was a little bit of difference there.
But what a difference it would have made. What a difference it would have made.
Exactly. Well, you are watching Meet Me at the Movies right here on C19 TV and spending time with Douglas Davidson, the president of the North Carolina Film Critics Association, as we talk the winners of the 12th annual Best in Cinema. We're going to come back right after this break. We're going to talk about Barbie and the multiple awards it won, and we're going to also look at the other categories. So please stick around. We'll be right back after this quick intermission.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick?
Between your job, your family, and other demands on your time, life can get pretty hectic. So we want you to take time for yourself. Hi, I'm Jennifer Harrell, and I want you to join me for your health. Each month, the Cleveland County Health Department and C19 TV will explore topics that affect you and your family's health. We'll discuss the importance of exercise, a healthy diet, and regular health screenings and checkups. From fitness tips to warning signs to the latest healthcare news. For Your Health will help keep you in shape and up to date in Cleveland County. We want you to be your best, so join us each month for Your Health, right here on Spectrum Cable and online, c19.tv.
Hi, I'm Nikki Bliss Carroll, your host for Cleveland Connections, the show that explores what's happening at Cleveland Community College. Join us as we sit down with members of faculty and staff to discuss programs of study, upcoming events, and other exciting campus news. We'll have a new show for you each month on C19 TV, or you can stream us online at c19.tv. Tune in and connect with Cleveland Community College on Cleveland Connections.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick?
Hello, welcome back to Meet Me at the Movies. Noel T. Manning II here, hanging out with Douglas Davidson, president of the North Carolina Film Critics Association and stinking good friend. Appreciate you, man.
Hey,
Appreciate
I bathe. I bathe.
No, that's a compliment. If I say you're stinking good, that's good. I didn't say you're man. I didn't say, man, you stink. So there's a difference there. There's a difference. Well, if you missed the first half of the show, we invite you to go check it out online, because we are talking the winners of the 12th Annual North Carolina Film Critics Association Best of Cinema. And before the break, we really spent a lot of time talking about Oppenheimer, which was the big win. 10 wins for Oppenheimer, and we did dive into Barbie just a bit. And Barbie was our next best as far as total wins for the awards.
Yep, Barbie, I believe in the first half of the show you said was nominated for 14. Out of those 14, it won 5 honors. Best Original Screenplay, which if I recall correctly goes to both Greta Gerwig, director, and Noah Baumbach. Let's see. It also won for Best Costume Design and Hair and Makeup, Production Design, and yeah, it's
And song, got a song as well.
there were. I was honestly extremely happy about the wins for production design and for costuming because of the specificity and the imagination that took place. There's a lot of folks that may watch Barbie and go, well, oh, okay, it had, they look how you expected Barbie to look. But in order to achieve something that looks so easy, you have to put a lot of work into it. And the detail and craftsmanship, as discussed before the commercial break, the production team ran out of pink, or wherever they sourced the color from to get that color. That source ran out of the color for everybody else. But there's so much detail that goes into everything in order to make it look so easy.
Yeah.
And you can see that on the screen. So it's a fantastic. It made me so happy to see that in the production and costuming category, and certainly with the original screenplay.
Yeah, and I think the hair and makeup goes hand in hand with that too, because we have these thoughts of what Barbie should look like from the hair design as well, and that was a win as well for Barbie. So yeah, I think it definitely earned its way in those categories.
Now, I think it would be easy to make a joke using an example like John Cena, who is the most delightful human being he seems to be, who is there for, as I would describe it, a cup of coffee, shows up wearing his wig, waving high as Mermaid Ken. But when you look at all the other Kens, when you look at the myriad of Barbies and the way in which they were made singular within their roles as Barbie or Ken, again, it goes back to the incredible detail, the incredible thought. How are we representing these figures that people can buy on shelves to make them feel, in this fantasy world, real and realized?
Yeah. It took such a unique approach from a story standpoint, talk about the story, that I don't think anybody expected that either. I mean, we knew with the writing team that we were going to have something different in Barbie, but man, it really did take it to an extremely different level that I think surprised a lot of people, that this was not a throwaway film. This was not a film that was there and gone within a week. It's a film that's continuing. We continue to be talking about it, and we're going to continue to talk about it for quite a while. So congratulations to Barbie. Earned 5 honors from the North Carolina Film Critics for 2023. There were 2 other films that each won multiple awards, and talk a little bit about those, if you would.
Oh, absolutely. We have The Holdovers and Spider-Man Across the Universe, which each earned 2 awards. I'm super stoked for Spider-Man Across the Universe.
Spider-Verse.
In this
Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse.
What did I say?
Not universe, but we know what you're talking about. It's Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse. Amateur
Let-
mistake. Amateur mistake. Really ruins the excitement. But what makes me excited about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse to have won its nominations, Daniel Kaluuya got nominated and has won for Best Vocal Performance in an animated film. His role as Spider-Punk, he's there, he's here and he's gone in this movie, and his appearances make up some of the best singular moments of that film. Part of that is due to his delivery. It is, I mean, the film itself is a marvel, and no, that's not a pun, in terms of the amount of detail that goes into each individual character and how they, as representative of their world, engage in the world that they're in. But Spider-Punk wouldn't be as good as he is without Kaluuya's performance. He makes him charming. He makes him, for lack of a better term, a rocker. And he is. He's a punk. But you feel that energy coming off, and the way in which a line of dialogue might throw a grenade into a situation. It's poking something. It's prodding something. It's dramatic and hilarious and absolutely wonderful and very deserving. Kaluuya is in that. And a film as a whole did win for Best Animated Feature.
Yeah.
So not
Yeah.
only do we have this singular performance, but it was considered the best animated film of this year. And it's, again, another film that, personally, I'm less interested in how well it does at the box office. But this is a film that was incredibly successful, had a high bar in terms of the last one won the Academy Award, and this is the second in a trilogy.
Yeah.
So the fact that it not only maintained the strength and energy of the previous film, but also takes it to new places is really exciting.
You're right. It's that's the mark of an incredibly solid film for sure. To continue to shine like this, and the Holdovers, you mentioned 2 awards for the Holdovers as well.
Absolutely. And with the Holdovers, this comes down to performances. We have Divine Joy Randolph for the Holdovers in Best Supporting Actress. And then we have the young man Dominic Sessa, who won for Best Breakthrough Performance. And these two, along with Giamatti, make up the central trio and of the Holdovers that we are following through the bulk of the film. Certainly, we start with a few more characters, but then we whittle it down to those 3. Both those performances are incredibly strong. And over the last couple of days, particularly because I believe the Holdovers is already streaming on Peacock as of this recording and is set to come out on home video, I think, in January of 2024, people are already talking about how these 2 performances are not only so strong, but are part of a film that is going to become part of their regular holiday season watching.
So, right here, I'm one of those. I'm one of those for sure, man.
and if that's not a testament to the film and to these performances, I don't know what is.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, those are the films that received multiple awards, and we're going to quickly go down the remaining winners who were singular winners in their particular films and categories. And let's start with Best Documentary.
Best Documentary went to Still, a Michael J. Fox movie. It's a fantastic documentary that is on Apple TV, streaming there. It is a film that uses not only talking head interviews and present day interactions with Michael J. Fox, but they use really amusing reenactments, which Fox is narrating over.
Yeah.
And it really helps capture the energy of those moments and makes it sort of light and airy in a story that could have been depressing if they'd wanted to make it depressing, but that's not how Fox looks at life, so that's not the movie that's made. There were some great nominees within that category, all of which are worthy of the award, but it goes to Still, a Michael J. Fox movie. Absolutely. With Best Foreign Film, holy mackerel, Anatomy of a Fall.
Yeah.
This one's being distributed by Neon. If you get the chance to see this film, I highly recommend going in as blind as possible. It is an incredible movie. It is a crime drama. And I dare you to find a solid answer by the end of that movie. because you could have 5 people watch that movie and come up with 5 different answers.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what a remarkable film it
Yes,
is in
yes.
terms of the performance, particularly by lead actress Sandra Hüller, who is also in The Zone of Interest. Fantastic performances in both films. But she absolutely headlines Anatomy of a Fall, and it'll have you questioning just about everything that you see. It is a very worthy amount of your time. For Best Actress, Killers of the Flower Moon, Lily Gladstone. When I say that this one was not a surprise, people have been regaling her with praise for her performance, and it's much deserved praise. And when one considers, she talked about in early interviews how she was actually thinking of giving up acting, and this year alone, she's been in 2 other films that have been released, each giving great performances. But it wasn't until Martin Scorsese called her up and was like, "Hey, I'd really like to talk to you about this picture." She decided to get back in the game, and we are all delighted for it. We've got Godzilla minus one with special effects. We have, and I really have to mention this because it's the North Carolina Ken Hankey Memorial Award. We give to you Fantasia Barrino for The Color Purple. What an incredible performance. She anchors that entire movie, which has itself some great performances, some great music, costume design, everything in terms of adapting Alice Walker's book, and then, of course, adapting the musical that came from the book. But Fantasia, wonderful job. Congratulations. And to all of our nominees, to all of our winners, we thank you for the work that you have done. Our critics love everything that you make, and we can't wait to see what you do next in 2024 and beyond.
Absolutely. And just a few to wrap things up here. Best stunts.
Sure.
That goes to John Wick Chapter 4. And what have we left out? Directorial debut goes to Celine Song for Past Lives. And
yes, it does.
Lifetime Achievement, which we've just started doing in the past couple of years. This time we recognized Makeup Artist for Lifetime Achievement. That goes to Rick Baker. Rick Baker, the legend there. We do appreciate you spending time with us right here on Meet Me at the Movies as we talk the best films of 2023 as recognized by the North Carolina Film Critics Association. Thanks to Douglas Davidson for joining us. And Douglas, that website, if people wanted to find the full list of winners and more information about the organization and the membership.
ncfilmcritics.org. Please come check us out. We would love to hear from you. We would love to get to know you.
And follow us also on Twitter X and also on Facebook. I'm going to keep saying Twitter X until I can no longer say it. So Twitter X and Facebook. And we do appreciate you. And Douglas, thanks again for all of your work for this organization. And you have continued to shepherd it through. And we just appreciate you. And it's been an honor to serve alongside you for sure.
It's been an honor to work with you as well and to work for this organization. I have served. I will continue to be of service.
Until next time, for Meet Me at the Movies, for Douglas Davidson and for the entire cast and crew right here at Meet Me at the Movies, I'm Noel T. Manning II, and that is a wrap.
We'll talk about the good ones and the bad ones. Many films to view till we meet again.